Wake up and listen. What you think is your harmless morning pick-me-up might be quietly poisoning you. And I'm going to show you the 10 coffee brands you should think twice about. The real dangers hiding in convenience packaging, and the 4 coffees that are actually tested, transparent, and safe. Stick around, like the video, and subscribe to Eat Frame because this is one you can't afford to miss. Right off the bat, huge hoax. Imagine sipping a cup that contains mold toxins, banned chemicals, or microscopic plastic fragments that can cross into your bloodstream. That's not alarmism. That's happening in kitchens across the world. And by the end of this video you'll know which jars, tins, and pods should be tossed from your pantry tonight. Comment below if you find any of these in your cabinet, and don't forget to hit that like button if you learn something new. Let's start at number 10. Nescafe, the instant coffee that's been in millions of kitchens for decades. Yes, the red label classic, and while it's been a comfort brand for generations, there have been recalls and contamination concerns reported in some markets tied to mycotoxins like aflatoxins. And the instant spray drying process can also lead to higher levels of heat-generated compounds such as acrylamide and a reduced antioxidant profile. Instant coffee is processed fast and hot, and that changes chemistry. If you rely on instant for the speed, consider swapping for freshly roasted whole beans sometimes, and again. At 9. Lavazza. Beautiful Italian tins and premium pricing can feel reassuring. That some non-organic lines have in the past been flagged by consumer groups in certain regions for pesticide residues and mycotoxin concerns. The reality is that without full single-origin traceability, you can't verify what went into that blend. And premium packaging doesn't guarantee testing, so when you see a fancy tin, check for organic certification and batch transparency before you buy. Drop a comment if you've ever paid more for smell and packaging over substance. Number 8 is International Delight Bottled Iced Coffee. Bright labels, convenience and a dessert-level ingredient list. Water, sugar, cream, coffee far down the list, plus palm oil. Carrageenan and artificial flavors. On bottle can be a sugar bomb and a saturated fat hit, not a coffee. For diabetics, kids, or anyone watching calories, this is a treat, not a beverage. If you're trying to build healthy habits, swap to black cold brew or a lightly sweetened iced coffee, and like the video if you want my iced coffee DIY. Coming in at 7. Death Wish Coffee. Bold branding, world's strongest claims, and high caffeine Robusta blends. There have been reports to health authorities of people experiencing severe caffeine reactions after drinking extremely high caffeine coffees. This is not for everyone. Seniors, people on cardiac or blood pressure meds, and those sensitive to stimulants should treat ultra-high caffeine products with caution. If you or a family member are in those groups, opt for lower caffeine Arabica blends. And hey, comment below if you've ever had a jittery experience after a strong brew. Number 6. Folgers, the red canister that made mornings a national jingle. There's comfort in familiarity, but there's also a lack of origin transparency on many mass-market blends. Independent tests in some years have shown higher levels of certain contaminants in some low-cost instant or mass-processed coffees, and over-roasting can increase acrylamide levels, so a decade of jingles doesn't automatically mean traceable. Tested beans. If you value accountability, look for roast dates, origin info, and third-party testing on the label, and subscribe for a checklist. I'll link in the description. 5 is Starbucks bottled Frappuccino and other bottled, branded coffee drinks. The logo comforts you, but the product is often closer to dessert than coffee. Milk and sugar dominate. Coffee is an afterthought, and these bottles can contain a lot of added sugar and saturated fat. They're fine as occasional treats, but if you're drinking them daily, especially kids or those with metabolic concerns, this is where brand trust can be used to mask an indulgent product as a daily beverage. Like the video if you want a healthy Starbucks swap. Number 4 is Green Mountain K-Cups and other single-serve plastic pod systems. The convenience is undeniable, but when those tiny pods are heated to near boiling temperatures, studies have detected microplastic particles and chemicals that can migrate from the pod material into the brewed coffee. If you brew multiple pods a day, you're exposing yourself regularly to that risk. So consider reusable stainless steel filter pods, biodegradable pod options that are certified safe. Or just go back to a French press or drip filter. Comment below if you've switched away from pods and why. At 3. Great value Walmart's house brand and similarly priced bargain coffees. Yes, saving money matters, but some low-priced coffees have in past independent testing shown elevated mycotoxin levels, and often these products lack origin labeling, harvest dates, or third-party testing. When a pound is priced well below production cost, corners can be cut somewhere. If you're on a fixed income, I'll show affordable, clean options later in the video, so stick with me and subscribe to Eat Frame. Number 2 is McCafe. McDonald's branded coffee and certain global drive-thru blends, mass sourcing, bulk roasting, and convenience-focused production can mean blended beans from multiple origins with limited traceability. Test lab work and reporting has raised concerns about acrylamide for over-roasting in some cases, and the K-cup versions add the pod problem we just mentioned. That's not to say every cup is dangerous, but if you drink drive-thru coffee daily, ask about sourcing or switch to a trusted roaster for comparison. Like this video if you want my step-by-step to test your coffee. Number 1 on the danger list, and the brand that caps off this countdown, is Tim Hortons, loved for decades, now part of a larger corporate portfolio. Numerous customer complaints, taste changes and lawsuits over reformulated blends after ownership changes have left many longtime drinkers feeling betrayed. Independent testing at times pointed to higher heat-generated compounds and lower quality sourcing after major corporate transitions. If a brand you loved for years suddenly tastes burnt or chemically, that's not just nostalgia, can be a sign of changed sourcing or roasting practices, so check the roast date and origin and, again, hit subscribe to Eat Frame for more brand audits. Okay, that's the hard part. The brands and products to avoid or at least scrutinize. But don't throw your entire coffee shelf away in a panic. Instead, make smart swaps and buy with verification. Now the good news. For brands that earn my trust because they emphasize transparency, batch testing, and quality control. First, Café Bustelo, a long-established Cuban-style espresso ground coffee with a simple ingredient list and a reputation for consistent, bold flavor. If you want strength without mystery, this is a real, honest roasted product that doesn't hide behind additives. If you agree, drop a comment. Purity Coffee publishes batch-level lab results for mycotoxins, pesticides, and heavy metals, and if a batch fails, it doesn't get sold. That kind of medical-grade testing and transparency is rare in the coffee industry, and for people with health vulnerabilities or cancer survivor concerns, that peace of mind can be worth the premium. Like the video if you want me to break down their lab reports in a future episode. Lifeboost is another standout. Low acid, high altitude single origin coffee grown and roasted to preserve antioxidants while minimizing acid and heat-related compounds. They emphasize USDA organic and third-party testing, and if you suffer from GERD or acid reflux, this is an actual functional choice, not a marketing ploy. Comment below if acid coffee ruins your morning, and I'll show brewing tips. Finally, Kicking Horse Coffee, Canadian, independently roasted, organic and fair trade options with clear roast dates and origin info right on the back. They offer roast choices so you can control heat exposure. Lighter roast equals fewer heat-generated compounds, and small batch roasting preserves freshness and active antioxidants. Subscribe for a taste test comparison I'll post next week. Throughout all of this, remember 3 quick actionable rules. 1. Always check the label for roast date, origin, and batch testing. 2. Avoid single-serve plastic pods or at least choose certified, low-leach materials and compostable options. And 3. Prefer single-origin or small-batch roasters who publish lab results. If one of these tips helps, like the video and share it with a friend who drinks coffee every day. Quick brewing tips. Grind whole beans fresh. Use filtered water. Avoid ultra-dark, burnt roasts if you care about acrylamide and antioxidants. And for cold brew lovers, brewing cold for 12 to 24 hours extracts flavor with lower acidity and can be a safer, smoother choice for sensitive stomachs. Hit subscribe to Eat Frame if you want a cold brew how-to. I want to be clear, this video is about awareness and making smarter choices, not fear-mongering. Many of the issues I covered involve regulatory actions, independent testing, or complaints reported in various markets. And some problems are regional or batch-specific. Always check recalls and batch numbers if you suspect a product in your home. If you see a recall or suspect contamination, contact the manufacturer and your local consumer protection agency. Comment below if If you want a template message you can send to a company asking for batch tests. Before we close, let me recap the most important takeaways. Skip suspicious instant powders. Avoid daily consumption of sugary bottled coffee drinks. Limit ultra-high caffeine novelty coffees if you have cardiac or blood pressure issues. Move away from plastic pods or use vetted alternatives, and favor brands that publish lab results, roast dates, and single origin sourcing. If that summary helped, like the video and ring the bell so you don't miss follow-ups. Finally, I want to hear from you. What's in your pantry right now? Do you have a red can of Folgers, a tin of Nescafe, or a drawer full of K-Cups? Comment below with the brand and I'll tell you whether I'd toss it, test it, or keep it. And don't forget to subscribe to Eat Frame for weekly food safety deep dives and practical swaps that keep your family safe without sacrificing flavor. Thanks for staying with me through this one. Share the video with someone who drinks coffee every day. Hit like if you learned something new. Comment below with your pantry confessions. And subscribe to Eat Frame for more food investigations that actually protect your health. Until next time, sip smart, stay curious, and keep rising.